I foresee this being really messy, but that wouldn't be Riverdale if it wasn't messy. Hi everybody, welcome back to Watch Riverdale with me. Today we're on season 5, episode 14, The Night Gallery. So last week, Betty found the creepy psycho killer on the highway and has decided to lock him up somewhere and not hand him over to the FBI and question him herself. And then Veronica and Reggie have teamed up and started Pearls and Posh. Archie has come to terms that he has PTSD as he's now seeing one of his fellow soldiers who died in his room. I think that was all that happened last week. Oh yeah, Kevin joined CHERYL's ministry. So let's continue. This show is so all over the place, I cannot keep track of plot lines. I completely forget what happened between Cheryl and Vera. Not a clue, because there seems to be some tension. So weird. She drew Archie. But I guess that's a foreshadow, because she's saying he's haunted by his past and plagued by the trauma of his present. I guess this is going to be about Archie and kind of a little flashback episode for him, maybe. So we can see why he has this PTSD and these nightmares. So it looks like Archie is now at a therapist's, kind of discussing his trauma, which is very good. CHERYL is so extra.
I need a team of brawny strongmen to reopen my mines and harvest the precious metal before Hiram Lodge steals it. So naturally, I thought of you and Andrew's construction.
Okay. Mining is serious, and you need serious training, but going blind. Why don't you?
It's just so strange how there's just casually a mine like that in her property. And also the fact that all these bros are going down there to get the palladium. Like, does no one foresee this being an issue? That, 7 untrained people are gonna go open up a mine and go mining? Like, Riverdale is so stupid.
Why is Reggie winking at the grandma? I mean, these people are so stupid. They left Kevin in there alone, or Kevin left himself there alone. Like, why would you stay in a mine, an old mine, alone? Like, don't they know that they can collapse? So Archie is again seeing Bingo in the mine alone. He found Kevin. Kevin again being selfish, staying behind alone to find the palladium. What a shocker. Don't like Kevin. Not a Kevin fan. I thought we were done with the Mothmen, but they're bringing them back. Reggie's telling them about the Mothmen. So apparently the Mothmen live underground according to Fangs, which, surprise, we're probably going to get a run-in with them in the mines. So Archie is now straight up seeing Mothmen in the mines. Not good. So Archie is now busting into the therapist's office and blaming the pills. At this reality, he probably should not be going in the mines in the state that he's in. That sounds like a recipe for disaster if you ask me. Okay, the other guys are realizing he should take a day off. Thank you, Uncle Frank. He doesn't think Archie should go underground. I'm so confused at what's going on. If they're like all going a little bit crazy, there's something in the mind that's making them go crazy. If Archie's just hallucinating this. So confused. Is this real life? Or is he hallucinating? So Uncle Frank's saying it's a gas leak, so I guess Archie isn't hallucinating this. There is gas. They're probably going to blame it on the Mothmen that are making them go crazy and, hear things and turn against each other. So Cheryl's like, screw all of you guys. I don't care if there's carbon monoxide and you could die. Screw that. Get me my palladium. Do what you need to do to go back in the unsafe mines that might potentially kill you and get me my palladium. Love that. She should work with Hiram Lodge. Oh, so all of Cheryl's paintings are like the transition to them telling the story. So they showed the painting about Archie and then they went and told his story about the mines. Now there's one about Betty, so now we're gonna see Betty's story. Tabitha speaking facts. She's like, why are we keeping this highway killer in our basement? Why aren't we handing him over to the authorities? That's what we're all saying, but Betty, is mind of her own. Oh, here we go. Classic Riverdale plotline. Betty's playing the hero. She's gonna do it on her own. She needs no help. Riverdale's a country. Betty's like, you're not in the United States anymore. You're in Riverdale. It's news to me. So this killer guy is like definitely playing games with Betty.
Allison McCall.
Which like makes sense. Considering he's crazy and Betty should have seen this coming and not try to do it by herself. The killer knows who she is because there's been stories about Betty circling the highway. So Psycho Truckman sees these girls as his prey and he's just hunting with his family.
That's how I see it.
How comforting.
I love how she's just stitching an in-depth detailed picture of the twins.
So Betty's now roping in her mom, saying that if this crazy guy sees you as a grieving mother, he'll confess. I foresee this being really messy, but that wouldn't be Riverdale if it wasn't messy.
Your daughter squealed like a pig when I slit her throat.
Okay, so I guess he did kill her.
You monster!
I feel like there's more to the story, though. Yeah, they should hand this man over. But no, let's keep him in the frickin' car shop. Her mom just gave her permission to kill the man. So there's that.
Kill that monster.
Betty's gonna start carving pieces off of him.
First, I'll cut them off at the ankles and then cauterize the wounds. And then I'll cut.
Maybe this will make him speak because, you know, she's telling him how she'd treat him like an animal. Like she was hunting him. Like he was prey. Never mind. Didn't work for him. He still doesn't remember Polly. So now Betty might go carve him. So we're flashing back to when she was captured by the trash bag killer and she's asking him to kill her. Oh, the trash bag killer was gonna carve pieces off of her. Oh my god, she said the same thing the trash bag killer did.
Use a chainsaw on your feet.
Weird. So this all makes sense. She's basically, you know, taking out that, I guess, pain that she held and trauma that she has from the trash bag killer doing it to her. I know she's gonna do it to this guy. And I think in her brain that will like kind of make everything, like her past trauma, go away. Like it'll be like a clean kind of slate. But we know that never works. Betty thinks there's more killers, which is what I said last week, that he's probably part of like a ring of them. And he did say to Betty like 2 minutes ago that there's whispers that on the highway that they all know about the rogue FBI killer, which is her. So clearly there's people talking, they're in communication. And she probably screwed the investigation over by capturing this guy and now he's dead. You should have handed him over. Ooh, okay, so Cheryl's next painting is of Jughead. We haven't seen him in like 2 episodes. He just left. He was walking on the way, I think, to New York or something. So I guess we're gonna catch up with him, see what's up with Jughead. So I guess the theme of this whole episode is trauma. As we're kind of diving into these 3 characters who have all dealt with like this crazy trauma that's been building up within them and kind of how it's affecting them now. So I guess it's pretty interesting. One of the better episodes, not super cringy, no singing. Okay, so Jughead is with a group talking about his alcoholism. It's basically Jughead went to college, found it boring, started trying to write a novel so he can get out of college and hopefully become a best-selling author. But he also started drinking at this time. Oh, so Jughead has no friends at Iowa. But he doesn't want to tell that to Belly. He doesn't want to tell that to Betty. They're keeping secrets because they're still together at this point. Okay, so they didn't really tell us how him and Jessica started dating. But whatever, that's okay. But anyways, Jessica looks like to be not the greatest influence, getting Jughead maple mushrooms. So that's where that addiction started. Basically, Jughead's now going to struggle with the fact that the only time he can write, or he thinks that the only time he can make good writing and get rid of his writer's block is when he's on shrooms. Uh-oh, so Betty couldn't make his book release party and he's going to spiral because he's still in love with her. Oh, that's how the super crazy voicemail happened. So you shouldn't call anyone when you're mad. So he was still in a bad place when Archie called him and was like, come home to Riverdale. Oh, so he went back to New York to try to find out what happened to him on his bender the night of his book release.
I'd been treated for a rabies infection, so I went to see Jess. Rabies.
So there's more to the story. So basically, since he came to Riverdale, what happened to him those 4 days in the bender was eating at him and he needs to find out. So he went back to New York to find out what happened. Apparently he had rabies poisoning.
She told me that I had been yelling about a rat king.
Riverdale loves these crazy characters. Mothman, Gargoyle King. Now it's a Rat King. Oh, so the Rat King that he is apparently seeing while he's under New York City is Sam, which I think is his agent.
Side note, just look at how ridiculous that costume is.
I'm a writer. I tell stories.
This is so weird.
I can tell you a story. Let me tell you a story.
His little stupid sword.
So the Rat King is telling Jughead to stay underground so you can tell me stories. So basically the underground is just Jughead's escape from reality. And I guess this Rat King is the excuse he made up in his head for him to have a reason to stay underground, when it's really just he wants to stay underground to avoid all his problems, I think.
I was very eager.
His way of dealing with trauma. And when you look at that, Betty came and saved him underneath the tunnels of New York City. The people in the meeting just asked us, how much of what you told us is true? They don't even believe this man. Because I don't blame them. The Rat King. Or Jughead didn't want to like come to terms that he went on a bender, ended up in a sewer, got bit by a rat and all that stuff, so he made up the Rat King. Oh, so he made up the Rat King because when he woke up out of his consciousness, he was covered in rats, got infected.
I was afraid that if I opened my mouth, they would
That's disgusting.
crawl into it.
So all the metaphors, that's supposed to be the best moment of his life, his book launch, but then he was in a dark hole, literally and existentially. Wow. So the whole experience made him realize how alone he was, and that how when he left, no one really missed him, and he's now dealing with all that trauma and coming to terms with him and trying to better himself, I believe, is what the whole message and what he learned from his little bender was. Oh, so CHERYL painted her and Mavera. Try to reunite them. Cute.
Cheryl, the last time I was here, your Nana suggested sacrificing me to an angry eldritch terror.
Oh, okay. I forgot that completely happened, so that's why Minerva hasn't been back. Makes sense. I wouldn't come back either. But CHERYL's like, forget that my Nana said to sacrifice you. Do you love me or not? Do you want to be in this house with my Nana and me or not? Alright, so that was this week's episode. No singing. That's a win. Wasn't too bad of an episode. A little bit cringy here and there. A little bit, no, it's pretty bad of an episode, really unrealistic, as per usual, kind of annoying, but it did give some good insights. It had a theme throughout. We were talking about and deep diving into these three characters and their past traumas and how it's affecting them today, which was interesting, and we got more background information of why they are the way they are now because of their trauma. So I think that was interesting, and it provided some context and everything. So it wasn't the worst of episodes. We got to learn a lot there. Betty, well, now they're not going to get any answers from that guy because he killed himself. But now she's going to go try to find the other truckers, which honestly, she should just get the authorities involved and stop doing this. How does she not? First of all, you can't do everything on your own. The overarching theme of this show is everyone wants to do everything on their own. You can't do everything out on your own. And she's going to get in, if this is reality, she'd get in so much trouble for impersonating the FBI, but whatever. And then we have Jughead. So we found out what was going on with Jughead. He's in his Alcohol Anonymous meeting now. I don't know. I think he's in Riverdale again because it seemed like he was in Riverdale, which is confusing, but he went back to New York to find out about his trauma, found out he was hallucinated a Rat King, which was weird. Yeah, I mean, this episode was pretty weird. The theme was good, the idea was good, but it's just they had to keep it in true Riverdale fashion and make all the storylines a bit strange and out there. But I mean, it wouldn't be Riverdale without them. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens next week. Probably back to more singing. How exciting. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching Riverdale with me. I'll be back next week with the next episode. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next week.